Those of you that don't know, Zorro was a character that was created by Johnson McCulley in the 1920s. He was basically created as a Robin Hood type figure that defend the poor and the less fortunate against the corrupt government that keeps suppressing them and keeps, stealing money from them, at which the character was actually based off of the real Robin Hood of the Wild West, Joaquin Murrieta. But when I look back on this character, I realized that he checked off a lot of boxes that are typical to the gentleman thief trope. The first thing is that he has a code of honor. Depending on what continuity that you're watching or you're reading, Zorro never raises his blade or his pistol against the innocent, and his targets are usually corrupt government officials that use their power in order to subjugate the people. And just like a gentleman thief, he does steal, but he usually steals things back from the corrupt government officials that have been taking people's land, their money, or in this case, like things that pretty much put them into poverty. The character also has a lot of suave and charm, especially when it comes to that of dealing with a Spanish lady. But God help you if he ever finds out that you've ever abused a Spanish lady or any of the indigenous people of California. And even though that he's not a master of disguise, he does have an alter ego by the name of Don Diego de la Vega, which by day he is nothing more but the son of a rich landowner who is suave and pleasant with the ladies, but he detests violence and he faints at the sight of blood. This makes it the perfect disguise because there's no way in anybody's right mind they would ever think that this man would ever be Zorro, which gives him the perfect cover to not only gather information, but to give him the means to plan out his capers. Or in some cases, like other gentleman thieves, he would have sidekicks or helpers that would help him gain that information, like characters like Bernardo, who pretends to be a deaf mute, which fools people, especially soldiers, into dropping important information that Zorro would use later on. And as for a calling card, yeah, he's already got one, which is the letter Z that he slices into walls, wanted posters, or in some cases the victims themselves. And usually gentleman thieves go after high profile targets, and again, he usually goes after high ranking officials that abuse their power. People like the sleazy Capitan Monasterio, which in every single adaptation, even though that he's a captain of the king's army, he still tries to use his power and influence in order to steal land or to get rich quickly off of the people, or in this case, the rich landowners of California. Or for those that grew up with the 1990s Zorro series that came on the Family Channel, who probably remembers the alcalde, aka the mayor, who abuses his power by using the law at his disposal as well as the soldiers of the garrison. Like, I'm not even kidding, in the first episode, he literally tried to hang an innocent girl for murder just so he could lure out Zorro. And the supposed victim was an actor that he knew from his school days that pretended to be dead just so they can lure out Zorro. Meaning if Zorro didn't show up, he was going to hang the girl anyway. So that way, if he doesn't get Zorro, at least he will keep the people in fear of what happens when they go against his power. And unlike other gentleman thieves, Zorro pretty much goes on a sense of justice. We can make the argument that sometimes the things that he do is for the thrill at times, but in most senses that he does it out of a sense of justice.